The truth about instant attraction is that it has almost nothing to do with your face, your height, or whatever insecurity has been living rent-free in your head for years. The truth is simpler and far more liberating. Attraction is not a physical trait. It's a psychological response triggered by signals you transmit through your body language before you ever speak. You've been conditioned to believe charisma is genetic, but the reality is that charisma is simply presence under control, and presence is a skill you can activate immediately. Most people walk into a room broadcasting static, insecurity, distraction, mental noise, and they wonder why no one turns their head. The reason is simple. You're not transmitting anything coherent enough for the brain to lock onto. The human brain craves clarity, and people with presence radiate signals that are clean, calm, and utterly grounded. This is why you meet someone who isn't conventionally attractive, yet everyone in the room gravitates toward them without knowing why. You think it's charm or luck, but it's actually a magnetic field generated by body language alignment. The fastest way to become magnetic isn't to change who you are. It's to tune the frequency of how you occupy space. Before I reveal the technique, you need to understand the psychological principle beneath it. The human brain determines status within 3 seconds of seeing someone, based entirely on posture, stillness, micromovements, and eye behavior. This judgment happens subconsciously and instantly, and once formed, it's nearly impossible to reverse. If you appear tense, fidgety, rushed, or internally scattered, the brain labels you as low status before you get a chance to prove otherwise. But if you appear grounded, still, deliberate, and unhurried in your movements, the brain registers you as high status, confident, and deeply desirable. This is why models, leaders, and charismatic people seem to have an aura you can feel. It's not magic, it's behavioral physics. Your body broadcasts hierarchy before your mouth broadcasts personality. The technique I'm about to teach you is the fastest way to flip that switch. I call it the apex axis, and once you master it, the air around you will change. People will unconsciously respond to the shift in your energy. The apex axis begins with one simple but profound adjustment. You align your spine, your breath, and your gaze into a single calm, coherent line. This line becomes the axis of your presence, and once activated, it makes you appear instantly more compelling. Most people collapse into the world. Someone with the apex axis expands into it. Start by dropping your shoulders slightly while lifting the crown of your head as though an invisible thread is pulling you skyward. This elongates your posture without making you look rigid. Then breathe slower than the environment around you, signaling calm authority. When your breathing slows, your micro-expressions soften, your eyelids relax, and your entire presence becomes more magnetic. People subconsciously associate slow breathing with competence, safety, and sexual confidence. Next, make your gaze intentional. Not intense, not aggressive, intentional. Let your eyes settle on people or objects with a soft stillness, creating a micro-pause that instantly elevates your perceived status. You're no longer scanning the room for approval. You're observing it as though you belong everywhere. This small shift changes everything because people feel seen rather than evaluated. The apex axis triggers an ancient psychological mechanism. Humans are drawn to individuals who radiate certainty because certainty signals safety. Your presence becomes a gravitational pull, and others instinctively move toward it. Here's the feedback loop that matters. Once you activate the apex axis, your behavior automatically becomes slower and more deliberate. You stop moving like you're uncomfortable in your own skin. You move like you're rooted into the earth. This groundedness is what generates subconscious attraction. People pick up on your stillness and interpret it as unshakable confidence. They read your calm breathing as emotional mastery. They read your posture as self-worth. They read your gaze as quiet power. And the combination of these signals makes you magnetic without effort. Now comes the part most people completely misunderstand. Attraction isn't created by doing more, it's created by doing less. When you eliminate the frantic micro-behaviors that leak insecurity, your presence sharpens. When you take up space without forcing it, your energy expands naturally. When you slow down your movements, your aura intensifies. When you hold eye contact just 1 second longer than feels comfortable, people feel captivated. This is how the brain interprets high-status individuals: calm, centered, and entirely self-contained. But the apex axis has an even deeper layer most people never discover. Once you align your spine, your breath, and your gaze, your voice automatically transforms. It drops slightly in pitch. It becomes more resonant. It carries natural weight. You start speaking in complete thoughts instead of scattered fragments. You create silence instead of desperately filling it. This vocal shift amplifies the magnetic effect exponentially because your body and your voice now communicate the same message: certainty. Certainty is dangerously attractive because it's vanishingly rare. Most people move in ways that betray their uncertainty. Most people talk in ways that expose their insecurity. Most people breathe in ways that reveal their anxiety. By aligning your internal axis, you break the pattern everyone else is trapped in. You transcend ordinary without uttering a word. And this is where the compounding effect emerges. People start treating you radically differently. They lean in when you speak. They soften their expressions around you. They give you more physical and social space. They mirror your breathing and posture without conscious awareness. They feel magnetically pulled into your field because your energy has become coherent. Coherence is the invisible foundation of charisma. This is why the apex axis works on contact. It reorganizes the signals you're broadcasting so the world finally sees the version of you that your closest friends always knew was there. Every time you activate it, you step into the version of yourself that feels powerful, grounded, and genuinely desirable. And the more you practice it, the more automatic it becomes, until one day you realize you're not performing attraction. You are attraction. Not because you changed your essence, but because you stopped hiding behind fragmented body language. You finally stepped into your presence. And presence is what people fall in love with. There is a moment you will experience once you begin using the apex axis, and it will catch you completely off guard the first time it happens. You'll notice someone looking at you differently, almost as if they're trying to solve what changed about you. They might hold your gaze longer, speak more carefully, or shift their entire posture when you enter the room. What they're responding to isn't your appearance, it's your energetic alignment. Your presence feels denser, more controlled, more stable, and people instinctively attune themselves to match it. When you walk with the apex axis activated, you no longer enter a space, you arrive into it. This distinction may sound subtle, but it rewires everything. People are exquisitely sensitive to microsocial cues, and your internal state becomes their external perception. When your internal world settles, your outer world begins to reorganize itself around you. You're no longer performing to impress anyone because the feeling of lack evaporates. You're no longer shrinking to make others comfortable. You're no longer projecting hesitation through your movements. You're now operating from a higher level of self-possession. Self-possession is the secret root of magnetism. People feel irresistibly drawn to those who are fully settled in themselves. You become that person the instant you activate your axis. But something even deeper starts to happen beneath the surface. Your social responses become more strategic without conscious effort. Your speech becomes more intentional. Your emotions become more regulated. Your decisions become more grounded. This is the hidden layer of attraction that no one talks about: stability. People aren't attracted to chaos. They're attracted to coherence. When you are internally aligned, your presence signals reliability, strength, and unshakable confidence. This triggers a biological response in others that makes them feel fundamentally safer around you. Safety is one of the strongest attractors in all of human psychology. But the apex axis doesn't just change how people see you. It changes how they feel when they're near you. They feel more relaxed. They feel more open. They feel more willing to reveal themselves. They feel more conscious of the space between you. This is the magnetism you've been unconsciously chasing without understanding it. True magnetism isn't something you project outward. It's something others experience when they step into your field. Your presence becomes an emotional environment. And people are addicted to environments that make them feel alive and truly seen. This is why certain individuals can walk into a room without saying anything, yet the entire room shifts around them. They're not loud, they're aligned. They're not flashy, they're grounded. They're not trying, they're transmitting. You become that kind of person by mastering the apex axis. But the final revelation of this technique is this: the more you practice it, the more attractive you become to yourself. You start feeling more composed in conversations. You feel more comfortable in your own skin. You feel more intentional with your interactions. You feel more sovereign over your energy. This internal feedback loop powerfully reinforces your outward presence. Others sense it within seconds. The world responds to the version of you that responds to yourself with complete certainty. This is why traditional attraction advice fails so spectacularly. It focuses on external tactics instead of internal alignment. The apex axis works because it aligns your entire system, your posture, breath, gaze, voice, and energy, into one unified transmission. Unified signals create instant attraction because they eliminate all mixed messages. Mixed messages make people feel confused and uncertain. Unified messages make people feel magnetically drawn to you. This is the critical difference between appearing needy and appearing magnetic. When your energy is unified, you don't chase, you attract. When your body language is aligned, you don't compete for attention. Attention flows to you naturally. When your presence is coherent, you don't seek validation. Validation becomes irrelevant noise. This is the essence of apex presence. It's not about appearing dominant. It's about appearing definite. Definiteness is irresistible because it's extraordinarily rare in a world drowning in hesitation. Every time you activate this alignment, you reshape how the world interacts with you. People trust you faster. People respect you deeper. People desire you more intensely. And all of it begins with a body language principle that takes less than 3 seconds to deploy. You simply align your spine. You calm your breath. You steady your gaze. You slow your movements. You amplify your energy. And you let your presence speak before your mouth ever opens. This is how high-status individuals naturally move. This is how charismatic leaders unconsciously operate. This is how genuinely attractive people effortlessly behave. You're no longer trying to be magnetic. You are magnetic. You're no longer performing confidence. You're embodying it. You're no longer waiting for others to notice you. You become someone impossible to ignore. This is your entrance into a new identity. An identity rooted in certainty. An identity rooted in coherence. An identity rooted in presence. This is your apex presence. And once you access it, you will never want to walk through the world any other way.